This is your first time here, you're now tuned in to the Moors in America podcast. This is our broadcast. It's playing live right now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. It will also be on Spotify and several other audio only platforms a little later on today. And it's also playing on Rumble as well. And so today we're going to be speaking specifically about relationships in general, male and female relationships. And as we speak on this topic, Islam to everybody sharing love in the chat. Peace and love to everybody that's here. Before I say anything else, I just want to ask that everyone who is here, please take a little time, just a few seconds, to hit the like or love button. And then also to make sure that you share this broadcast. Share the Facebook and the YouTube video broadcast. And if you haven't done so already, make sure that you're subscribed on Facebook and YouTube to the Moors in America page. Now, just getting back to this, today we're going to be talking about the concept of marriage. Is it hopeless? Is it outdated? And if it's not, how do we build strong, healthy, loving relationships? Okay, and so that's the topic today. It's something that can um, that a lot of people right across the board should be able to relate to or see the importance of and see why this is something that maybe you want to listen to. So as we get started, I just want to say this video represents the views of the presenters and our guests. We may have some guest speakers on here today. It's based off of our personal research and life experiences. Um in no way am I trying to say that I'm some kind of expert, some kind of guru, some kind of person who's living in a perfect relationship, or even that I'm like this great guy, right? And before you run away, like, why am I even here then? I just want to say this. If somebody is telling you that there's some type of relationship guru, you should turn around, like, military style, about face, and run in the other direction. Okay. Just saying that. So I'm not trying to put myself out there like that. And definitely not trying to act like everything's all perfect. But I will tell you this. As I said before, I have been married for 20 years, and it's not always easy and cool. And I'm not even trying to act like I'm some great guy just up here perfect. Because depending on what day of the week you talk to my wife, she's probably not gonna tell you how she's really feeling about me, which is a good thing. Because if she did, she'd let you know that I'm a jerk. She's not gonna tell you though. But I'm just saying, I'm not all great and wonderful. Everything ain't always great and wonderful. But however, after being married for 20 years, I still feel like my wife is beautiful, right? Still attracted to her, still prefer her company over another, right? Still want to be around her, even though we get on each other's nerves, even though sometimes, you know, we don't agree, right? And I'm just saying this because, um, as I was saying earlier, I see, like, amongst my peers, right? People my age, I'm 43. People my age, they haven't been married for 20 years, right? People that did get married as young as I did, that of course it didn't last, right? Right? And people, that or they started families, but they didn't marry the person. So now, some people my age, like, they have several baby moms, baby mothers, children, child's mothers. I don't think we should say baby mama, but anyway, people, they have, went different routes. I don't have a lot of peers like my age that are in the same situation. I know they're out there though, but just saying, not a lot that I grew up with and know. And then also, especially not that, are still together and it's still like each other, right? And so I want to speak on that and speak on how it's even possible to be in that type of situation where you can, be with someone and build something, because also we not broke. We doing good, we successful, we growing, prospering, and we're doing our best, man. We're not perfect, but we trying. We both working together to make that work. Okay. And so I think that, this is something that we can all then grow from, right? So you're not listening to some know it alls, some gurus who's going to give you this is what you do. Like, nah, nah. it's not all perfect. It's not all whatever. I don't know what they telling people on TV and all, all of these other um um things in the media, selling some type of dream or something to people that's not realistic. And I think that expectation also leads to to disappointment and failure as well. So, but before we get started, though, I do want to rise, giving the highest praise to the Most High, our Creator, our Father God, Allah. Without having this aspect into our relationship, we wouldn't be here together. Right? And also, we give honors always to our Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, for bringing us our divine creed and nationality. Honors to the forerunner, to the Prophet, and we give honors to everything Moorish. Honors to all of you out there. Honors to everyone, even those who are not Moorish, all the light bringers out there. And I give honors to everyone who clicks like and shares this video. Much honors to you for not just watching it and not even showing any love, right? So honors to all of you. And that's what we're going to be speaking on this afternoon. You're listening to the True and Living Light Bringer Moors in America. As always, I'm your brother, Lloyd Douglas, also known as Sharif Ali. Also have my beautiful wife here with me. And I believe we may have some guest speakers on here as well. It'll be a surprise. I won't say who it will be. And well, what we do here on Moors in America, for anyone that's new to this platform, here we are uncovering and bringing glorious light to all issues pertinent to the Moorish American paradigm. That's what we do here on this podcast known as Moors in America. And I think the topic today, it definitely applies to Moors, but it applies to people in general, just across the board. So if you wouldn't mind, please share this broadcast on your favorite social media platform, Facebook, Twitter, uh, everything. All right, and I'm gonna turn the mic over to my wife here. I believe she has some words to say.
Islam family, peace and love. I think this is a great build today. You're gonna learn a lot. There's a lot of brothers and sisters who are in and out of the movement who are looking for that person, that special someone to build with. And the first thing I want to say is stop looking, okay? Because we are, when we work on ourselves, and we understand who we are and understand the great law of attraction, we're going to attract our reflections. And sometimes when we attract who we are, we don't like that person. We think we do at first, but it gets real messy. And it's because we didn't do the work on ourselves to perfect ourselves to be good for another person to come in. If you do not love yourself, you cannot love another. If you cannot govern yourself in these streets every day, online, at work, you cannot have that special relationship with someone and not mess it up because you're not ready. So, I'm just saying, like, stop looking, start preparing yourself to be somebody special for someone else, and Allah will bring that special person to you when you are ready. Islam, I yield the floor.
Okay, gratitude for sharing that. I see we had a Sheik Gray L in here. Uh, much respect to you, brother. I know this brother also someone else who has been married for a while could share some advice. If you want to chime in or to come into the room with me, just let me know and I can send you that link to join the live stream. Let's go ahead and get things going. Um, so first off, I just want to look at the statistics, right? So we have some marriage statistics up here by race, and when you go into to look at this, I see some things that are troubling that kind of jump out to me, right? Which you probably don't need me to point this out to you, but there's some things that are troubling. Um, so just across the board, and this is limited to the United States of America because these stats are coming from the U.S. Census Bureau. Okay, and so when we look at the rate, the married rate, like the amount of people that are currently married, right? The category of black people has the lowest percentage of people that are married at 30%. The next lowest is Hispanic, and then you have white, and then you have Asian at 58%. Okay. Then moving on. Okay, so you have married only at 30% for us, lowest percent by far. And then going to divorced.
Can I say something first
Sure.
though? We when we look at, is this only in America?
Yes,
Yes.
these are from the census.
Okay, okay. Because I was gonna say, like, across the board, these numbers are crazy.
Yeah, so the numbers don't look good. Um, they don't look good at all. You, the main thing that I'm looking at though is the married and never married. Okay, so you have 30% that's married, and that's it. So this has got to be going off of adults, right? People over 18 or over 21, and so there's a huge gap between everyone else. The Hispanic and white are separated by like 9%. White and Asian separated by 6%, but we're black and Hispanic separated by 13%, right? And then you have another jump when you look over there at never married. It's saying that 50% of our people never even been married, right? Then Hispanic, they got the same percent married and same percent never married, 43 and 43, right? And then for white, it says only 28% never been married. And then it goes down for Asian. So I want to speak on why you see these gaps. Okay. So you could the same way you see these gaps for marriage statistics, these are the same gaps that you'll see in wealth. Like if you're looking at percentages of like how much people are earning. And I know this isn't true for everyone. There's some people, I mean, don't feel like you have to come in here, let me know that you wealthy and you single. Like, come on. It, hey, there's always anomalies. Every this, it's not this is not like something that's set across the board. We're just saying for the population in general. For most people, okay, being able to have all of your um income consolidated in one household, right? It also allows like sensible people to increase their wealth. Now, it's look, if you are together, y'all are married, and you're both bad with money, whether you're gambling, drinking, smoking, whatever, doing whatever, things that are like making terrible decisions, then this is not going to increase your wealth being together. Because if you put two people that are foolish with money together, right, it's going to be a disaster. But for most sensible people, having those two adults together in one household, and then especially once they start creating children together, right? Obviously, consolidated in one household, they're able to increase their wealth, right? Right, because that both salaries, whether they have jobs, whether they're starting businesses, whatever they're doing, it's all going into one household, right? So they're able to now get real estate and start to do other things together as a unit. So you'll see the same, wealth gap between Asian, white, not really that big of a difference, but then Hispanic, okay, making a little less money, and then the so-called black people at the bottom, okay, and you'll see that happening. And then, depending on how many households that the wealth is getting split up in amongst the never married, right? If they have children by different people, then whatever money that they're bringing in now is some's got to go over here, some's got to go over there, right? Depending on how many children you have with different partners. So it's getting split up. And so it's not that you can't overcome that. It's just that it makes it even harder now to increase the wealth of your household, right? Because you also have to contribute to other households as well because you have children in those households. And so this is a real thing, right? So in general, that's one thing. Gratitude for the sister for sharing that in the chat, Sister Gray L. Right. Um, I'm glad you brought that up because what's given to us in general in society as a whole, or in the media, as far as like TV, movies, stuff like that. As far as like relationships, what's given to us is that you should pick somebody who looks a certain way, right? Someone that maybe makes you laugh or other stuff like that. And this is what things are based on. But
Yeah.
just off of what you said about finances and wealth, right? If we're not taking that stuff into account, it's gonna be a problem. Let me yield the floor to to the wife.
No, I was just gonna say that they sell fantasies, and it's unrealistic. The things that we see and that we want from others sometimes, and that's another reason why it is not gonna work because we're going off of unrealistic, things that we want from other people, things that we won't even do ourselves to keep anyone around. So that's dangerous. Islam.
Yeah, yeah. So that we're not even being trained really on how to build a successful household, right? Because we're being taught to just look at how she looks, just and especially now with the with influencers, right? Being an influencer is now such an important thing that people can get paid off of being influencers. And so you have all these influencers who are influencing you to do what? So in general, if you look at a lot of the women that are having like millions or hundreds of thousands of followers, they're influencing you as a woman to place all of your value in your appearance, right? So you're being taught to place all your value in your appearance, and then yeah, I mean, you shouldn't place all your value in your appearance, but it's nothing wrong with wanting to look nice and to be in shape, but they're taking it even further with getting the plastic surgeries, right? Doing all of this extra stuff to make you appear sexually attractive, right? To make you more sexually appealing, right? So they're promoting getting breast implants, getting the BBL surgeries, right? Getting tummy tucks, doing all of these things. So all of the emphasis is then being placed on you um um prioritizing your appearance, right? In a sexual manner. So this right here is throwing everything off. I'm not saying that it's all on the women. I'm just pointing that out for one thing, because this is what's being promoted to you as a woman. And then, of course, this is also being promoted to men, right? This is what you need to go for. And now the women, once again, feeling like they need to fit into the standard because they don't look a certain way. So it's like a never ending cycle. And this is something that if we're starting like a relationship off of that, man, if you're with somebody, especially starting a child with a woman because of her body parts, you're starting it's disaster. It's off to the wrong foot, like right away. You can't base anything solid and real off of body parts, right? Now, as Moors, for all the people out there that are Moorish Americans, we should know right away that that's a losing approach. We have these divine instructions in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America that warn you about that, right? They warn the woman not to place so much emphasis on her physical beauty, on her physical appearance, because these are things that fade with time. Not saying that you become ugly as you get older, just saying the things that are being placed on youth and on, these things fade with time, right? And so if instead of placing the emphasis on your appearance and especially on getting surgeries, right, you're building your character, you're learning, you're building your mind, right? These things don't necessarily fade with time, okay? They don't. And so if you're now meeting a lady and you're not just starting getting her pregnant based off of her appearance, right? You're getting to know her, actually know where her mind state is. This is a more solid base for building a relationship. Some of this stuff just seems like common sense, but it has to be said out loud because the exact opposite is what's being promoted to you on a daily basis, even from some of these so-called relationship experts, relationship gurus, these other people out here. That's another reason why I said earlier, when someone is saying like that there's some type of expert, there's some type of guru, you should probably be running in the other direction. Why? Because these people in many cases are pumping and promoting the same basic level of attraction, just physical attraction. These are the things you should be going for. The guy that's working out, the woman that's got this and that, it looks like this. They even have the rating system. Is she a 10? what is she, a 7 or 9? Like, grown-ups, adults shouldn't really even be talking like this, talking about your rating system. All right. Because these things don't take into account um how how healthy your diet is. What type of food do you eat? How do you live? Like, are you a good loving person? Are you in a are where are you at right now in your development? Are you selfish? Are you these things are the things that really matter. These are the things that make or break relationships in the long run, right? So if you're getting with someone just based off of something trivial, something like, body parts once again, then you find out later on that you two are like total mismatch for each other. If you've already created a child with this person, you've already, started things off in the wrong direction, and it's not going to end well for anyone, right? And now you have children that are going to be growing up in a messed up situation. So these are the decisions that are being made and also being promoted by society. When you look at society in general, it's very irresponsible, right? The things that are being promoted through TV, movies, especially music, it's extremely irresponsible. And now with the internet, social media, right? Everything is being pushed. We saw that with Cardi B, right? When you see the image that Cardi B formed for this character that she created, right? This rapper actress persona that she created. It's just this, woman who's extremely provocative, right? Just always pushing sex. Even had the song WAP, right? Which is okay. Hopefully the audio is back now. I apologize. I don't even know how much got cut out there, but I was basically just speaking about that situation with Cardi B, promoting, pushing this persona of this very provocative lady who's all about sex and you know premarital sex, all that stuff. She just pushing all that, pumping all that. Got the song WAP, which stands for something I ain't even gonna say on here. And she's playing it on her live stream. Her little baby walks in the room, and she immediately goes to cut it off, and she's like, this is inappropriate. This is not good. This is not right for the child to hear, right? Which is, that makes sense. That's just sensible. There's nothing wrong with what she did. That's what she's supposed to do as a parent. And then some of her followers, got upset. Her fans, they're like, why is it cool for our children but not for yours? And that's a kind of a crazy way to take it, but people took it like that. And so I'm just sharing this because in many cases, the people that are pushing these agendas, these dysfunctional, toxic, I'll say toxic since that's like the key word of the day. These toxic agendas, a lot of the people that are pushing it, they don't really live by that. They don't live that life. They don't accept that in their own households. They know that it is unsustainable. They know that it's unproductive, that it's bad, right? But they push it to you, right? They push it to the world. Okay. And so this is the situation that many of us are in. We can't even function in a healthy relationship with the opposite sex because we're internalizing all of these other agendas, all of these other mindsets that are working against us from the outright. Like just, out the gate, they're against you, right? It's setting it up to fail. And so I would like to just speak on some of the things that we do need to do in general just to set ourselves up to succeed. And of course, before I do that, though, I do just want to put this out there to everyone watching this now. If you have any questions or anything that you would like to speak on this topic, feel free to type in the chat, um, and share in the chat. And also, I ask that everybody watching this hit the like and the share button. Okay, but just going into this, from my perspective, just learning that I've gained over time, I want to share just things that I think are extremely important in order for us to actually build loving relationships that have successful households. All right, because that's ultimately, I think that's what most of us want, right? We want to be successful, and I think even though some people may not even feel like they really want to be married, right? But it's not really a bad thing to have somebody, a companion that has your back, that you actually care about, that you can actually do things with. Because I'll just put it like this: like traveling, going to places overseas. I see people that travel overseas by themselves and they have fun, right? But I could just tell you from experience, it's way more fun actually being with your mate. You know, somebody that you can experience things with. It's it's a lot of times it's just more fun to be able to share experiences with someone else, and especially somebody that you care about, that you're connected with. You know, it could be going overseas, it could be going to the zoo. There's a whole bunch of things. Just it's just fun, and like you have somebody who you like relate to, right? Hopefully, y'all around the same age, so you're like, you have a lot of things in common as far as mindset and stuff like that, and so like you can vibe, and then it's just cool, it's fun, okay, and so why not do something that makes life even more fun? We don't have to live this life by ourselves, right? We can work together, and you can actually have a mate, a life mate. So yeah, okay, I see that in the chat, and let's go ahead and go over that. So just rewinding back to what the media puts out, right? Like a realistic model, okay, of a successful marriage. What does that even mean? Right? That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not even trying to act like my marriage is all wonderful and perfect and stuff. Cause it's like, what does that even mean? Right? Is it perfect marriage? I mean, we don't have a perfect marriage because we get in arguments sometimes. Sometimes like we don't really think each other are good people. Like we get on each other's nerves. And that's realistic. Like that's life. Like it doesn't matter who you're around. Like you could be living with your brother or sister, right? Or your parent or someone else, even a best friend that you two vibe with, y'all kick it, y'all tight, y'all friends. But when you're living together and around each other all the time, all of a sudden you don't really think they all that, right? They're gonna get on your nerves. You're gonna wear on each other. Okay, it's just life. It's even if y'all look real cool, then when you're actually together, you're gonna see like they clip their toenails or something and get them on the floor. It's gonna be something that's gonna get on your nerves, and then that's just life. So getting back to having a healthy um relationship, a healthy marriage, I think one of the things that comes with life, like being able to master, and when I say master, not once again, not saying perfect, not saying that you always do this, but being able to learn how to accept things about people and to not be all, anal about certain things that you can't control, but also to be able to accept people and accept that they grow and they do things just like you do. And you might not always be doing the same thing or be on the same wavelength. Like to have a good relationship though, there's only a few things that you really need to align on, right? And I just want to cover that real quickly because I think that goes in with this. So there's a few things that you have to align on. to be successful together. And one of them, the most important one, and I see some stuff in the chat too. You doing, yeah, you on it. Um, One of the most important things that you have to align on with someone is not that you both sexy, you both in the gym, or you both got surgeries or whatever this mess is, right? That's crazy. Cause it's always gonna be somebody that's sexy. Like that's the dumbest thing in the world to just build off of. Like, yeah, like when going back to the Quran or the Moorish Science Temple of America, when the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is giving you these divine instructions on what to look for, for men to look for in a wife, her shape, her form is like the last thing that's listed. So I just wanted to say that because I think the most important things that you should align on first and foremost is your mindset, which means that you shouldn't just meet someone and then go and sleep with them and get them pregnant, and now y'all got to mess with each other unless she's gonna get an abortion, right? So it shouldn't be sexual attraction and stuff like that. The first thing is that you need to get to know each other and see if you align on your mindset. Does that mean that me and my wife are twins and think alike, have the same personality? Hell no, right?
Right, because he's like oil and I'm like water. Like we are not the same. But that's good for us. That's kind of perfect for us because then we get that balance that we need.
Yeah, so that's not mindset being the same person. All right, mindset, like how you approach life. Do you have a prosperous mindset? Like, are you motivated? Do you both like want to succeed and maybe achieve more than you have? Right? Like spirituality. This person like atheist. They don't care about nothing. They a hedonist? Hedonism. They just want to gratify their carnal
Their self.
desires, and they just running through it. They man, I want to have like what are they about? Are they about doing drugs and getting high? And you're not. Why would you even mess with them? Well, I know from a man's perspective why, right? You just want to sleep with her. You don't care. You don't care what she thinking. You ain't even really trying to take her seriously, right? But if you do take that step of getting involved sexually, you may wind up stuck with each other for life.
And there's this saying by Reverend Knight. He says feelings get the blessing. So, like if someone makes you feel good, they have good energy, good vibes. That's another thing. We need to start looking at energies and frequencies of individuals because energy transfers, right? I believe like I live extreme. I'm up at 5 a.m. I'm doing stuff. I'm running around. I'm running dogs. I'm outside. I'm playing with lizards. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. Like I come with so much energy that
That
I will
sounds
get on
crazy.
people's
You
nerves.
outside playing with this, you gotta tell people.
I got bearded dragons, okay? Like for real, I got bunnies, and it's like I am what they would call um what was it called? Not an introvert, extrovert. I'm high energy, so that will get on your nerves if you're an introvert. Because like all that energy all the time make you feel some type of way. Because you ain't got it to give sometimes. But me, you have to like I know myself, so I'm not looking for anybody to give me energy. I pull my energy from the ethers, from the source. So I use that and I give it to others who needs it. I'm a healer, right? And that's my profession. Like I'm a licensed massage therapist. And so it works for me. And so you have to find that balance. We have to create boundaries for each other. We have to respect each other. Boundaries, respect. Those are key words in relationships that are working. We have to have working relationships where we understand our positions and we play our parts. We play our roles every day. Islam?
All right, gratitude, yeah, for sharing, and just to add to that, like um, if we don't actually put in the time to learn these things about each other, there's no way you could build something successful. That's just hoping. Just it's like closing your eyes and just throwing a dart at the wall, just hoping that things work out for the best, right? So the mindset that we have affects everything else that actually matters, right? Once again, it's like the appearance and all these things, yeah, they matter, but no, they're not up there on the importance list, right? So the approach that we have to life, these are things that we should know about each other. And then now it may be even more confusing because people have profiles, right? And people may be selling a fake image of themselves, or they may be selling the image of what they ideally want to be, but that's not really how they live. Somebody may be online trying to act like they're spiritual, and they not even just online. Like when you see them, they got crystals and all these things on. They got dreadlocks. They're doing all this stuff. But if you really get to know them, you may find out that you know,
They're totally out of balance.
yeah,
They're not
they're
walking the
real
talk.
negative. They might be like extremely negative mindset, and that boils over into everything that they do,
And you
and
can
you are
see that.
attracted to the image and what you see in online and what they say because that's what they want to be. They're not really living up to that. And so, these are things that you got to learn about people. This would like end all of the problems that come about later on, right? Because everybody breaks up eventually. This will end all of that if you just take the time to get to know each other right away. Because you're supposed to know, like, is this the type of person who, like, y'all are gonna be growing and prospering together? You're gonna be, getting your finances in order. You're gonna be investing in real estate. Are y'all hustlers? Are y'all trying to, come up? Or is this person like cool with just watching TV, you know, or
Yeah.
playing video games? And I'm not even knocking it because maybe everybody isn't really motivated, to be high achievers and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, if you are, and this is the person that you're getting pregnant, right, or that you're marrying, right, like there's no way it's gonna work. No way, right? Is that person bad with money? They're gonna just be trying to spend whatever they can get their hands on, right? And then the health, like, do they eat healthy? Are they exercising? Right? Do y'all even worried about things like that?
And on another note, we have to look at other aspects of it too, because if we go back to that statistic chart, like where the Asians, right? It said, I believe they're high on the chart of marriage, and we have to understand they have certain principles, customs, and traditions. That's where our customs, traditions, and principles come in. Like, I hate to say, I hate to call our people black, but when you categorize people in a color, you're denationalizing these people first of all, and then you're stripping them from their cultures, religion, principles, so they don't have these things to build relationships upon, and so of course it is not going to last. But when you go to the other ethnicities, like they have culture and traditions and principles that they can build off of in their relationships, because like a lot of Asian cultures, they have like fixed arranged marriages, and they be lasting forever, and they don't even be knowing the people that they're marrying. And so we have to think on these levels, like, like how. And here we are, you know courting people and getting hooked up with them, and it's not lasting a year, 2 years. How Sway? Well, this is how, is because we don't we don't have those principles to build off of. And that's why, like, joining a temple and being a Moorish American Muslim is so important for us, because it gets us back in alignment with our old cultural and, the ways of our ancestors, the way that they did it. And that is very important, especially when you're creating family units.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. So the reason why, like in general, at our stage, right, where we're at right now as a people, arranged marriages wouldn't work for us, but it would work for someone, for example, from India. Not saying that it works all the time, but it would more than likely work because they have a culture, as the sister said, to build upon. And so they're bringing elders into it, like their parents, to do the matchmaking for them. Or I know they also have people to do matchmaking for the families, but they say they're bringing these people in, like their parents or grandparents, in to find the husband and wife for them. Now you're bringing in an older generation, right? So they're going to be hopefully wiser, right? They've got more life experience, and so they're not going to be looking for the same things that you are looking for. They're going to be looking for the things that can actually make this last. That can actually make this succeed. Okay, and in general, so-called black people wouldn't be able to do this because how how what generation is going to do it for us?
Right,
Well, we're
because
gonna go back in time and pull somebody from 1920 where they actually, had marriages and they were, at least trying to be respectable people when they didn't think it was cool to, to just have, you know, um, anything goes the way the culture is now in 2023. It's impossible, right? So it wouldn't necessarily work if our parents or grandparents are going to pick the husband and wife for you. It may for you or for somebody else, but in general, for us as a population, it's not going to work because we wouldn't have that structure to build off of. All right, and the sister mentioned the the Holy Quran or the Moorish Science Temple of America or the Moorish Science Temple of America because I wasn't really going to get into that, but there's a reason why. It's because we have divine instructions. All right. So even for the people, there's various people out there that say that they're Moorish American, but they don't know about this stuff and don't care about it. This is from the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. So when you go into chapter 21, you have marriage instructions for man and wife from the noble prophet. All right. And so we have instructions in here that are designed to give us a mindset of what to look out for in each other, to look for our higher principles so that you're not looking for a woman for her backside or just for her body parts, and whatever women look for in men, you're not looking for those physical things or does he have chains or tattoos or whatever, trivial things. We're looking for higher principles.
and I brought that up, the cultural aspect of it, because a lot of these brothers that we talk to, they're looking overseas for women because they're like, I can't stand American women, especially our women in our communities, because they not about nothing. And so our men are looking for those those cultural strengths, those principles, those traditions in a woman, that makes them feel like a man and see her as a woman. Those things are important to bring back, because like we having fun, we eating out together, but she don't know how to cook. Like, he don't know how to cook. So y'all just eating out. That's not okay. Cause that leads to other problems with health and money and like just different things that the old countries still instill in the women is not being passed down here in America anymore. And that, that was just an example. Islam.
Yeah, and just going with that, once again, like you have some all the experts, the so-called experts, and some of the women are telling the women that you need to marry outside of your ethnic background, and the men, you have some men saying the same thing, and like the sister said, also telling them they need to go overseas and find someone, and all of these things are really masking the actual issue, which is just working on ourselves, right? Because this was said earlier at the beginning, like if you're not really happy, if you don't really love yourself, there's no way you're gonna actually have a good relationship with anyone else either. It's just masking the real issue, and it's masking it. And it's not to say that we don't have a lot of dysfunction in general in the country. It's not just like in one community. It's period across the board, right? So it's not to say like there aren't cultural issues here in the United States of America, that make people who buy into that culture, this Western Roman mindset, unsuitable, unsuitable mates. I'm not saying that that's not real, but I'm saying that trying to escape that problem is actually running away from the real issue, which is on fixing ourselves. Because at the end of the day, your mind controls your reality. If your mindset is vibrating at a certain rate, you will actually bring and attract people with that similar mindset into your life.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter if you go to Jamaica or if you go to Brazil or London or wherever you go, you're going to attract that type of tribe, those types of people. Maybe you're working in London for a couple months or a year or something like that. You're going to find people like that with the same similar mindset as you. And then some of those people may be people that you're going to wind up courting. Okay. So it doesn't matter where you go in the world, that's what you attract. And so to say that all of the women are messed up that you're finding here where you're from, and then to act like it's a problem with all the women here, that's avoiding the real issue, which is your own mindset.
Right,
You
because
can't
when you
run
go
from
to
that.
other places, guess who you're gonna attract there? The same type of women that you don't want here. And why? Is because they see you as a scapegoat. A lot of the women overseas, they're not dumb. You know, you coming from America to everybody else in the world, we complain all day about being here, but everybody else wants to get here.
Yeah, the secret's out about, the men that are trying to go overseas to find a woman. Everybody knows now. So when you're coming, they see you coming a mile away. And so they will do things to try to, get you interested in them, because ultimately a lot of women, they're trying, maybe if they're impoverished, or if they you the levels of poverty in many of these countries that people are going to is way different than ours, right? So they see you coming from a mile away, and you know they see you as a meal ticket. And that's not really a good way to go about building something if you want something solid, you know So once again, it's all about working on ourselves. And I'm not saying, hey, you can't go overseas and meet someone great, but still work on yourself so that no matter where you're at in the world, you will attract your vibe will attract your tribe. So there's no way to get around that. And like a lot of us like easy fixes. So we get these easy fixes, these patches, just putting a band-aid on some or microwave fix for real issues which lie within. So at the end of the day, there's no way around that, right? It always comes back to working on ourselves, because no matter what we do, we're always going to get what we put out. And we're always going to, especially the person that you're actually with is always a mirror of you in some level, some way. That's also why a lot of times people can't stand the person that they're with. It's something about them that reminds you of aspects of you that you don't like, and that's what a lot of people don't want to deal with.
And we have to be careful when we are, playing the field or looking for a significant other or a partner, a life mate, because there's a lot of trauma, that comes in our packages. There's a lot of hurt and pain, and yeah, even mental illness and all these things. So it's like, don't rush into things, because you might think you're getting the perfect person, and then you find out that they're a monster, and they were sent to be the devil in your life, to teach you a lesson. And it's like, some people enjoy that hurt and pain, and you know they like that drama. And but once you become mature and a little bit older and ready for new things, like, those things are terrible to have to endure. So, be careful and who you surrounding yourself with. Be careful who you let in your circle, especially if you're a genuinely good person, and you know you're successful and you got a good head on your shoulders, and you're not trash, because there are very trash like people out there, and they're like vampires. They're just coming to drain you from your energy. So, don't ever just rush into things. Take your time. Time never was. We saying like you got forever for this. Work on yourself, build up yourself so that you can have options. Because like we we're love made manifest. We're here to be perfect individuals. You know, and that what I'm saying is that's a mind state. Like you have to you have to live in the moment of pure joy and gratitude every day. And if you can't do that, if you can't sit in silence and darkness and meditation, for hours by yourself, you're not ready for to be with nobody else. And that's real.
Man, if that's the case, it's a lot of people that you know won't really be able to do that. But this is why it would be ideal if we were getting these types of lessons from from birth. If we had a community that prioritize spirituality and morality, teaching us these things so that we could be whole people instead of being fractured and trying to now find somebody, but you don't even really like yourself. That's not a good way to go about it. But at the end of the day, it's not it's not the end. We can always work on ourselves to make ourselves more whole, to strengthen ourselves. We can always do that, no matter how old or young you are. I did want to go to this question that one of the brothers had asked on YouTube, just saying, well, he wanted to address this. Islam, bro, I've been married for 7 years. Props to you. And he said, I have seen in other couples and mine as well the topic of husbands and wives that have different religious beliefs. For instance, is this instance Christianity and Islam, and how being opposed or closed off to each other's beliefs could have positive or negative outcomes in their marriage. Okay. And so this is a real topic I know that a lot of people are dealing with. And One thing that I would say about this goes back to mindset, to see like if you really align where it matters. So it's most important to align on mindset, because if you truly align on mindset, it doesn't really matter if we had different religions, because if we really align in our mindset and our outlook on life, and we talked about these things before we got involved, we'd understand that the creator has many names, right?
And lives within us. And we choose to be God or the devil every single second of our lives.
And so like we would understand what really matters, which is that the creator can have several different names, and ultimately that shouldn't be the thing that makes or breaks a marriage, because somebody else may be comfortable in Christianity because maybe the Christianity that they got was like what Reverend Bernard Beckwith is teaching, which is teaching the science of the mind, or what Reverend Nike is teaching, science of the mind. And they're learning that the creator is within them. And it's like they don't really have to change anything, because what they have is empowering them and connecting them to the source. And then if you have this Islamism as established, revealed to us by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, you have the same approach. And so at the end of the day, shouldn't be any issues. But the reason why it does become an issue is because many times those aren't things that we talked about. We didn't even really try to find out this stuff about each other. And one thing that I saw the Sister Gray L shared in the chat, just like when we're getting to learn each other, we're not doing simple things like taking a cooking class together, you know, walking in the park, right? People are doing what? Going to the club, drinking, um, going to the movies, Netflix and chill, right? Stuff like this. We're not really getting to understand each other, getting to know each other's like approach to life. And that's what really matters. Because if we do that, then we figured these things out before. And so there's some things that we may not do the same or agree on necessarily, but we agree on the things that actually matter. So it doesn't even take away from anything, right? So yeah, if we all understand that the source, you know, is not limited to a religion, then there shouldn't be any issues. We don't all know that. And so that becomes an issue. And I get too why people would be upset, if the mate isn't understanding, isn't coming into Islam, wanting to, declare their nationality, because you would see that Christianity is being given to us by our slave masters. So I get that. But once again, if this person is getting a higher understanding, then there shouldn't even be an issue.
Right. Because when we practice any religion, you know, for what the true teachings of that religion is supposed to be teaching peace. Like peace with yourself, peace with it's Islam. And that's why like it's so ancient. When you go back to any of the religions, like it's really all one that it's been changed to fit the regions and the understandings of people in different um, parts of the world, but at the end of the day, the message is the same. So how you gonna be a bigot? How you gonna be a hypocrite? How you gonna practice hate, especially towards someone that you're supposed to love unconditionally, your life mate? Like I don't even understand like how people could feel like that about the people that they're supposed to love, their significant other. And it's like you don't really love that person because if you did, you will be more understanding. And if is another thing, like if they are a part of a religion and they're not really practicing that religion and they're still with you know, with the street life, and it's like, yeah, of course you're not gonna be feeling them. Of course you're not gonna be like, oh yeah, I believe in what they believe in because they don't believe in nothing for real. They're fake.
Yeah, that's true too. Some of us aren't really setting a good example. So there's no way that other people would want to come in if they see you as the example. And that's just, once again, it goes back to self. It's always goes back to self. But yeah, as the sister said, like somebody, it could be Buddhist, if they're really Buddhist, they are practicing Islam from our perspective. It don't matter whether practicing the indigenous Hawaiian religion, don't matter what it is, right? They could even be practicing voodoo, or that, like, if they're really into it, they're not they're not trying to, do love spells and get revenge spells on people, right? If they're actually really practicing it, they're practicing Islam.
Become better
They know
people.
about the creator, and they're working to raise their vibrations up to be in alignment with the creator, right? And so there shouldn't be an issue. But many of us like are still approaching things from the lower self. And since we're doing that, that's where the corruption comes in. And so that's why it would be an issue, right? Because we're not actually doing what we're supposed to be doing. And it happens in everything. It happens in Islam or Islamism or whatever you want to call it. It happens here with the Moors. It happens in Voodoo. It happens in, Santeria. It happens in Christianity and every religion. And that's just with people, their approach to it, right? But if we're really on the spiritual aspect of it, understanding our connection to the Creator and doing the work to raise up to become the higher self, then we're all connected. The prophet gave us a great unifier, so there shouldn't be an issue,
That's
and there should
facts.
be no need to try to force anything on anyone else. You need to do it this way. That should not be an issue,
Right. Because what's right for one man may be wrong for the next man.
right? And just going back to this, what really matters in this stuff may sound, It may sound like, oh, this is common sense. But there's really no such thing as common sense. So the real things that we need to align on, for the most part, it goes back to mindset. Actually learning, understanding where this person's coming from, their approach to life, right? Where do you align on that? And then knowing yourself. I saw that said in the chat. A couple of people said that. Knowing who you actually are and being honest about it. That's something that a lot of people don't want to do, like taking an honest assessment of yourself. You might want to be muscular, right? But being real, like you're not trying to do the work to do that. Maybe you're not active like that. Maybe you even have no desire to do that. Right. So just being honest about who you are, your approach. Like maybe you want to be successful, right? Financially. You don't want to have to worry about bills and things like that. But then being honest, like, are you disciplined? Do you do whatever extra work it takes for you, like to create your business or to succeed, at your job, whatever you need to do to make more money? Are you disciplined enough to do that? And then are you dedicated to becoming disciplined enough to do that, to be the person that you want to be? Right. So these are things that we have to know about ourselves before we even worried about getting with somebody else. And of course, this isn't promoted because we get this reckless, this reckless, just dysfunctional energy from the media. Just go out there, just do you, just YOLO. You only live once, just do it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about these things. Get out there and date, just mess around, just hook up, right? And all of that, there's no way we could build anything, any solid structure. This is also why I was just saying, like, in our country here, and for everyone that's born in North America, yeah, we don't really have that luxury of being able to maybe have our parents step in and, okay, they're gonna find a mate for you, because maybe, yeah,
They messed up.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe your parents never been married, right? Or they, divorced, like, so we don't have that. But in other countries where, like, maybe in India, for example, again, maybe their parents were married for 50 years, right? Grandparents still married. So they're coming from a totally different understanding. Where somewhere like here, that sounds ridiculous. They can't choose nothing for me. But like, yeah, I feel that, because it's like, yeah, are your parents even married? Right? Of course they can't choose anything for you. We're coming from a totally different understanding and things that have been broken. But this isn't the way that it always was. This actually isn't the norm for us. I always show these pictures of so-called black people in the 1920s, because just looking at the images speak louder than words. And just looking at the images of these people, their families, they're married, the way that they dress when they go out in public, that everybody's wearing suits and dresses, even the children, even the babies, right? They're all looking nice, um, respectable, right? This is what was going on in the 1920s, back in the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's time, right? These are things that were important to the community, just in general. And so that's not really our reality right now. So, yes, we have a lot of work to do. And I say, if you see yourself as a Moor, even if you don't, even if you're just a little curious and you want to know a little bit about what this Moorish Holy Quran is, I would say download it. Download the Quran at the Moorish Science Temple of America. Maybe buy one, or maybe even contact the temple, get on the calls, just to understand, just to gain some insight on what is being shared here, because we do need a structure, a solid structure to build off of, because some of the many people that live here in North America that are from different backgrounds, come from other countries. They've been living here now for generations, and now their people have gone astray as well, right? So it's to the point now where in North America, like, no matter where you're from, there's just this toxic, dysfunctional culture. It's not meant for building strong, healthy households,
Yes,
right?
because it's made to feed the system.
Yeah, and feed the system is not a good thing, because feeding the system. If you black, so-called Latino, whatever that means, your children need to go on and go get locked up, go to prison.
The
They
healthcare system, the prison system, you know, the education system, all those systems are entities, and they have egos, and they're alive, and they gotta eat. And who they gonna eat? The kids.
Yeah, so setting up the next generation for failure, and this is what we're all pushed towards. If I just pulled up social media, just Instagram, influencers on Instagram, especially if you type black influencers on Instagram, you're gonna get so many negative images. You're not gonna see lady dressed nice, respectable, two men wearing suits, right, a bow tie and a tie, like looking like decent people. And what is this, Topeka, Kansas in the 1920s, right? Black, so-called black Harlem. See, the women have their hair covered, right? They're all wearing dresses, nice, respectable. You see this imagery. So 100 years later, we are so far from this. This is not what we do anymore, right? You don't see this in our communities. Okay, we've gone so far away from this. It's crazy. Okay, so they look like Hebrew Israelites. But just showing in general, whole entire family, everybody's, dressed respectably, right? Men wearing suits, women wearing dresses. No confusion about gender roles and things of that nature. You're being trained to reject that, to think that, oh, these are labels that are being placed on me. We're being trained to the point where, like, there's so much confusion being pushed that they have the children in the classrooms that are being told that, hey,
You want to be
you
a
you
cat? You
you
want to
want to
be a
be a
dog?
cat? Yeah, well, we'll put a litter box in the classroom for you, for the children who identify as cats. And this is what's being promoted. And some of the people who think that they're awake, right, who think that you're conscious, you're going right along with this mess. Okay, but it's all been programmed for your destruction, so that you don't even see what's really going on. But we've gone so far away from this. So these people who, like, if you're like anywhere around my age, this guy might be old enough to be my great great grandfather. Right? You don't have people around like that to advise you, to ask, for advice on marriage, finding a good husband, a good wife, right? We don't even have that. We've been through a lot to get us away from this type of community. But I just wanted to share those images though, because we saw ourselves in a different light. We saw these people in the 1920s, right, would have seen family as important. They would have seen their household as important. They would have felt like, and this was um definitely so for our community, but this was also so or true for the majority of the United States of America. Matter of fact, back in the 1920s, they would have looked to the so-called black people as the basically the moral template or the moral standard for the entire country. So the numbers that were shown earlier about marriage, and divorce and stuff like that, it would have been totally turned around in the opposite direction. Where if you went back 100 years ago, the majority of our people would have been married. Okay, and
And that was
so
a whole new era of time where we actually live together in our communities. Now we're desegregated, so we're living in everybody's communities. Like some of these neighborhoods, you lucky to even see a brother or sister in some of these neighborhoods, and it's like so you don't get to build with with your brothers and sisters, and they don't get to build, with the kids, and it's like at this point a lot of our neighborhoods, they're so toxic and broken up, the household broken up, so the kids are out of control. Like you don't really want to live there, you don't really want your kids, going to school with those kids, so you looking for, better places to go. But here's the thing, you still education starts at home at the end of the day. You have to teach your children respect, morals, all these things, because they're our future. They're going to be the ones, you know to be on podcast talking about what we talk about right now if it don't change. If we don't instill that seed, because for a lot of the generations that already came, they dropped the ball, because the system, like I said, is alive. And it goes off of the algorithms. It's like, oh, the people want to be woke. Let's give them woke pills. Let's give them weed. Let's give them vape pens. They could be woke on vape pens. So they got something for you. Whatever you claiming to be today, they got something for you to keep you satisfied, thinking you really doing something, and also continuing the toxic curses, the generational curses. So we have to break those. We have to break those. And the one of the things that we need to think about in relationships is what we are willing to accept from others. Like, are you gonna accept your significant other hitting you whenever they're mad? Are you gonna accept them cheating on you? Are you gonna accept these things? Because it's like you gotta lay down the law at the gate before you start building with people. You have to let them know, look, you do this, this, and this, we can't be together. And if they do this, this, and this, and you don't walk away from that relationship, you setting yourself up, right, for failure. So you have to stand on your principles and you have to hold true to them, because ain't nobody going to believe you or take you seriously if you straddling the fence. So that's part of knowing who you are and building yourself up, because you're going to have to know what you're willing to accept and what you want out of this relationship. What is your position? What is your significant other's position, so that y'all could be, on the court playing ball as a team, instead of, just doing whatever and looking stupid, not scoring no points, not going nowhere. Just fights, arguing, negative, and then you got kids and they seeing that. So that's an ongoing generational curse that you're created in your household.
Yeah, and um, looking at what Sister Lachey L said in the chat, there's a lot of Moors, even Moors that are in the temple that are straddling the fence, right? They didn't go all the way in to be who you're supposed to be. So just going back again to why I say anyone who's watching this, regardless of who you are, if you want to look into this, I would get the Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, get the Quran questionnaire, right? And it's for everybody, to actually read it, to see what Moors are actually supposed to be about, and what you are supposed to be about as a human, regardless of your ethnic background. If you have this, you can be standing on a solid rock of salvation. And this is important for all of us to know, especially like if you're more, because you're going to meet other Moors who don't stand on any of the things we're supposed to, the things which lift us up out of the cares of the world, and that can place unconscious humanity, right? You see the woman limp, she's unconscious, she's vulnerable. This is not just women. This is not just a representation of women. Okay? It says humanity on, the hip for a reason. This is everyone. You're unconscious. If a woman's laying unconscious out in the, street somewhere, she's extremely vulnerable. So this is what this is supposed to represent. Humanity, when you're unconscious, when you don't know who you are, when you don't know what you're supposed to ideally be doing, you are unconscious, you are vulnerable. You are drowning in the cares of the world. And so once you have these divine instructions, they lift you onto the solid rock of salvation. And now, when you meet and come across other people who claim to be Moors, all right, when they don't uphold these same principles, I mean, you judge, not necessarily judge, but act accordingly. It doesn't mean, like, oh, I'm better than you, I'm looking down on you. It just means I don't care what you claim. I don't care what title you claim, who you call yourself. I know right away if you don't uphold, you don't stand on the same principles, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, right? I know that you're liable to do anything. And so, as far as relationships go, right? All right. So we have the Quran with marriage instructions. I'll just go over some of them briefly so that those who've never seen this can understand why this will help you. But this just lets me know if you don't stand on these same principles, you're liable to do anything, right?
Yep.
It doesn't matter that you say that you're more. You're not practicing Islam. You're not. It doesn't matter what you say. You're not doing it. So if you're trying to be in a relationship with someone, this is some woman. I'm not married, and she's a Moor. She claimed to be a Moor, and it don't matter what she say, what she look like. If she's not standing on these divine principles, she's liable to do anything. She might get a gun and shoot me because she's jealous or because she's got some issues going on, right? There's no telling what. And I can't, as I'm dying, laying there, being like, "Oh no, I didn't know, I didn't see it coming." I'm not a victim, right? We put ourselves in these situations. So with these marriage instructions, they keep us away from those situations, right? They keep you away from these situations. You with the dude, and he's later on beating you, and he finally kills you. This isn't some tragedy that just happened overnight. It may seem like that because we don't want to lose these people. It's bad, it's sad, all, but no, we put ourselves in those situations. We had several warning signs, right? So in here, it says, "Give ear, fair daughter of love, to the instructions of prudence, and let the precepts of truth sink deep in thy heart. So shall the charms of thy mind add luster to the elegance of thy form, and thy beauty, like the rose it resembleth, shall retain its sweetness when its bloom is withered." And in this current, um, in the under the Roman um concept of society, the Western civilization, you don't you don't get more beautiful as you age. You don't retain your sweetness when your bloom is withered, right? You Because you don't add charms, right, of your mind. They don't add luster to the elegance of your form because we're not trained or taught to strengthen our mind, to strengthen our character. We're not taught to do this. And so this is why I keep going to that influencer stuff, this, all that Cardi B, all that mess. That is just telling you as a woman, the only worth, the only value you have is in your physical, sexual attraction. That's it, right? This is what's being promoted to you as a grown up. And then I see grown women my age going along with this mess. So this is what they're teaching to their daughters. So eventually, this is what's being taught to little girls, right? Forget all this, forget building character and building your mind up. And so what this means is, as these women age, there will be no luster, no elegance added to their form, right? They just gonna get older because they didn't build up their mind, build up their character. So this is what's being promoted, all right? And this is terrible. This is terrible. This is the opposite of what we need to build strong families. And so at least the Moorish Americans need to know this. If nobody else knows it, we must know this and we must act on it. So any Moors who do not uphold these principles, they're liable to do anything. I personally can't take them seriously, because if we're upholding our principles and being who we truly are, this makes us upstanding, strong, independent, and fearless. This makes us trustworthy. Whereas right now, you can't trust, you can't trust, anybody. It's almost so bad that you can't trust a Moor, you who's claiming to be a Moor, because chances are they don't uphold these divine principles. So this is important for all of us to know. If you're of European descent and you're watching this is important for you to know. You know some Moors? You need to let them know if they're claiming to be a Moor that they need to be living off of these divine principles. They need to be members of the temple too. They need to be learning this, even if they aren't members of the temple. They need to be studying and practicing this on their own. because you can't be a man out here. You're Moorish American, but you're, out here just cruising for women to sleep with based off of their body parts, right? You're supposed to be a little wiser and smarter than that, regardless of how old or young you are. Okay. And if you weren't getting these instructions from your parents, right? Like most of us, we didn't have this guidance. You've got the Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. You can get it here. you know, you can get it regardless of where you're at. People even can get access to this stuff in prison. So even if people don't have their freedom, they can get access to it. All right. And so these are the type of instructions we're getting. If you read this chapter 21, it's everything that it's giving you about, instructions as far as women and men, right? Now, in regards to the woman to look out for, these are things that are dealing with her character, her mindset, right? She is clothed with neatness. She is fed with temperance, humility, and meekness are a crown of glory circling her head, right? On her tongue dwelleth music. The sweetness of honey floweth from her lips. The sweetness of honey does not flow from the lips of many women because they're filled with well, the opposite, right? They're foul, right? You see the women, or you see men too, but you see a lot of times they're taking the pictures with the middle finger up, sticking the tongue out, right? And it's like without even hearing them speak, you already know it's going to be nothing but foulness, cursing, ignorance, right? Insults, talking about other people, gossiping, right? Decency in all her manner, all her words. In her answers are mildness and truth. Submission and obedience are the lessons of her life, and peace and happiness are her reward. I promise you, if you are find a woman like this and you get married, you will live a happy life. You'll be blessed for it, right? But you got somebody because she look good, and she's foul and disgusting. you're gonna be you're gonna be miserable. It's guaranteed, right? When scandal is busy and the fame of her neighbors is tossed from tongue to tongue, if charity and good nature open not her mouth, the finger of silence resteth on her lip. Okay, and a lot of people aren't trained to avoid gossip and drama because all of these shows, especially the stuff they call reality TV now, reality TV. Once again, this goes back to culture, what we're programmed to be like. So they call this stuff reality TV, where it looks like they got cameras following people around. What most don't know is all this stuff is scripted, pre-planned, right? And so the stuff, especially the stuff that's aimed at women, pushed to y'all, it's all drama. It's all drama, unnecessary drama. And so you're being trained to crave drama. You want it in your real life. You're entertained by drama. You think it's funny and cute to start stuff for no reason, right? It's the opposite of what any sane person wants in their life, right? So we're being, yes, chaos. We're being trained to crave it, to like it. You're entertained by it. So even if you don't think that you're living like a trifling lifestyle, why are you entertained by this mess? Why are you sitting here watching these women fighting and scandals and all this stuff? Why are you even like this mess? Right? Why are you giving it your attention? But we're being trained to want this. And so these are things that you need to know before you even get into a situation, a serious situation with this person, right? I can't even imagine like being in a real relationship with a woman who like, you know, has to watch this type of chaos and drama every day. Like, okay, there's no way in hell that she's not going to bring this outside of the TV into your life, into your household. It's going to be there, right? Because it's fun. So this once again, this just gives us guidance throughout life, wisdom, divine wisdom, right? Because in this life, in this realm that we're living in, 2023, we're not getting this growing up. We're not getting this advice. Some of you may, but for the most part, we're not getting this advice growing up. So we don't know what to look out for, right? We're not understanding. We're not knowing. That's why it had to be put into the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America for us. because just once again, just going back to when the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was here in the flesh in the 1920s, he may not have really had to tell people that because back then it was common sense. You may not have had to tell these young men, hey, don't, like look for women that don't like chaos and drama. He would have looked at you like you're crazy. Like, of course I don't want that, right? It would have been common sense. Whereas now it isn't. Now, you may have been trained to think it's cute. Oh, she likes to start fights, right? She got her tongue sticking out and she's got a middle finger up, right? Like she's a rebel. I don't know what people think they're doing by doing it, but like it so the things that he was telling the people at that point in time, it was for us 100 years later. This is what to look out for, man. Don't think that you're gonna get with somebody who loves all this drama and stuff and things are gonna work out. It's not gonna work out. Now you didn't have to tell people that back in the 1920s because they knew better. But nowadays, yeah, we need that advice. We need it, right? All of us do. So the children definitely have to get this because they're not gonna get it from anywhere else. And so if we're not implementing this into our household, once again, I'm saying like this is advice everybody could take, you know? But if we're not implementing this into our household and then teaching this to the children, then you're just throwing them out there to the wolves. They don't know nothing, right? Your son gonna wind up messing up and getting one of these wildebeests pregnant, who's like, foul and crazy and about to bring chaos and destruction into his life. Okay, and vice versa for the fathers and mothers of young girls, daughters. They're not getting any wisdom. So she's gonna wind up messing with somebody who's caught up in this, you know, this Western civilization Roman mindset. All right. All chaos and destruction. That's all it's about. So as Moorish American Muslims, we're commanded. We have divine instructions. Take unto thyself a wife and obey the ordinance of Allah. Right? Take unto thyself a wife and become a faithful member of society. Right? So we're supposed to be fruitful and multiply. Okay. And then we're given instructions on how to, to look what to look out for so that we don't get caught up on out here. Just in case we didn't get the best advice growing up, or society, of course, not giving us what we need to be successful, um, you know, productive members of society. Because they're not trying to build a strong nation. Okay. So we needed this guidance. And especially those who identify as Moors, you need to be on this. You need to be giving this to your children. Everyone in your household needs to get it. If they don't want it, fine. Go out there and wing it and see how it works out for you. But if they have any intelligence at all, they will take to it. Right. They will see that, yeah, we need this. And just to to wrap things up, um, at the end of the day, this all goes back to the mindset. This is so important for us to take the time to actually learn the people, to not be caught up in their image, whatever they're selling, promoting to you. Because when you're meeting people, of course, courting people, no one's going to keep it all the way real. Most people don't do that. They want to sell something to you, even if they don't really intend to be with you for a long time. We want to sell the best aspect of ourselves, at least what we think that you like, right? And that's what males and females do. So you want to get to know who you're really dealing with. But in order to do that, you have to know who you are, right? You have to know who you are so that you can be honest about yourself and so that you can actually see who this person really is. And that will avoid everything, man. That will avoid all of the hangups and things that come along later on. So society may give you this idea that, marriage is like this fairy tale thing, right? And, it's all about being romantic and all this stuff. And it's like, look, on one hand, yes, of course, we want to have love and stuff like that in a relationship. But at the end of the day, it's a business, you know, um, a it's a business that you're both entering into together. right? It's a partnership. And so you're coming into this and it's like, what are you two going to build together? Are you going to like mess around and, you know, waste spend money together and get, be broke and miserable? Like what it's, you have to plan these things out. You have to know where you're coming from, who you are, what we're dealing with. What are we going to build together? You know? So it's a business, it's a partnership, and you have to understand that it's not anything that you were being sold by the Romans, right? It's not always going to be fun and easy either. You know, there may be like my wife and I kind of like raised each other because we got together so young. There's things that we're going to have to learn. You may have to learn together, and you may have to, grow and learn together and overcome things together, right? It might not always be easy. Finances might not always be easy. So all of these things that come through might be things that come through to test you, you know, to see if you're going to fold. All right. And I'm just taking a second to see what's being said over here in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, and I agree definitely what you're saying, right? We have this disconnect, generational disconnect. So there's no parents. Sometimes there's not even any grandparents that can give you good, solid advice that can keep you on track. Because without that type of guidance, like we didn't really have that. We knew a couple that had been married for a long time back in Memphis, and they were cool. And we talked to them before. But, like, outside of them, we didn't really have any, like, you know, married couples that had been together for a while, to, like, share, like, to mentor or share advice. But, like, that's really important because, first off, you have to be able to keep your eyes on what's really important, which is making your household successful. All types of things will come through. Temporary situations will come through. But you're supposed to always know that you have a legacy that you're building together, and a legacy is for the long term. So you're not supposed to let temporary situations end that legacy or detract you from that. And a temporary situation may be that we're arguing right now, right? Right now, we're really like at each other's throat right now. Maybe we're really angry, or there's, it could be somebody lost their job, maybe finances are tight. It could be so many things, temporary situations. They come through, and they may even be things that are difficult to deal with that you're struggling with. People might die. There's all things that could be going on around you, right? That make things harder, that make things difficult. If you have those elders around you, that can keep you together basically by keeping your mind on what's really important. You don't throw away a legacy over this and that, right? Right? But in many cases, we don't have that, and that's why marriages in general fail. It's not like it's just one community, right? That's just across the board. Most people don't have that. Okay. But if you understand that it's a partnership, that you're building a legacy, and you align on that, there's nothing that you can't accomplish. Nothing. And then it's when you get into this aspect, when you have somebody that you taking the time, on both sides, male and female, you both taking the time to get to know each other, to know, to see if your life goals align, if your mindset, the most important thing, approach to life lines up. All right. Now, if that's what you're building your relationship off of, you have a legacy potentially. And so this is something that you should value and want to protect. And if you're doing that, there's no limits on what you can accomplish, right? Because through all the ups and downs in life, ultimately being with someone like this, it makes life more fun. It's better. We're raising our children together. We're looking out for each other. When she's sick, when I'm sick, We're gonna take care of each other because I'm not just with you just so I can sleep with you. I'm not just with you when it's good. We care about each other, right? For real. Like, this is what is supposed to matter. These are the things we're supposed to get to know about each other before even considering, having sex and stuff like that, man. This is why it's so important, really. And I know I'm really speaking to the Moors, man, to take on these lessons, internalize them. I would say, even, I don't care if this sounds old fashioned. I don't know where everybody's head mindset is, but I would say if you really are a Moorish American and you out here just um sexing folks up, cut that mess out. You know what I'm saying? Cut it out. Study the Quran. Um, Study the Quran is revealed to the Prophet Muhammad too. Okay, and do the work to clean yourself up. And as you do this work on yourself and get to know yourself better, when you are ready, to enter into a union with someone, you will make a wise decision. All right. And you don't have to worry about, because a lot of people out there, they can be like, man, especially for the men, be like, man, you can't really trust these women. At the end of the day, they're gonna do you wrong. You won't have to worry about none of that. You're gonna make a wise decision. You're not gonna be with somebody who's scheming on you and can't wait for the chance to stab you in the back. Okay. But actually having someone who has your back, that's really, at the end of the day, what it's really about. At the end of the day, it's a partnership and we both have each other's back. We have a common goal. We're both looking to make our household more prosperous. I'm not secretly scheming on, having this girl over here and building something over there. We're both working together for this household. There's no there's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no secret schemes, right? There's nothing like, there's nothing on the side being worked out that's against the partner, that's against them, right? So we both working for a common good. That that's real simple, but that's what matters most. So you both need to align on that, right? And if you align on that, there's no limits. And there's really nothing else that anyone can say. Somebody, because I'm telling you right now, some expert could come along and be like, man, I wouldn't advise anybody to get married. It's always going to turn against you. The system's against the man. And they can say all that stuff. And that stuff has no effect on me or my life or what I'm doing with, with my wife. Not saying that we perfect and everything. I already put that disclaimer out there. Ain't nobody perfect. Ain't no, I'm just saying what they say don't have nothing to, no bearing at all on my reality. And you can be in the same situation, but it's not because of what I said. It's because you can take these divine lessons, right? If the Christians out there actually held to the Bible, right? They actually held to it and internalized the divine instructions in there, they will have a healthy marriage. Okay. And it doesn't really matter what people's religion is, if they actually use it for their greater good, it will assist them and allow them to be prosperous, you know? And so, just wrapping it up one more time, the most important thing is getting to know this person before you even get into this position of marriage. And that's another red flag. If they don't really want you to get to know them, stop dealing with them. Because some people are gonna be like that, and that's just because where they're at in their life, they don't really trust themselves. And there's a lot of people like that. But if you're gonna use this to your greater good, you want to be standing on that solid rock of salvation. I would advise everybody to get the Quran or the Moorish Science Temple of America if you don't already have it. Look at the lessons in there. Go to chapter 21, 22, 23, 24. Look at what it says in there. Go over it a couple times. If you have questions, then I would say reach out to a temple, see if you can study with them, see if that assists you, if it helps you. If it doesn't help you, you know, you you can study on your own. But that's what I'm saying. Just use this because like the situation that we're at in the world is like it's extreme level of dysfunction and savagery and ignorance. Like I said earlier, they got the classrooms with the kitty litter in there, and they're telling the children, "Oh, you can identify as a cat." Okay, and if you have a child and they're in this situation, and both parents don't even align and agree that that's wrong, to put on children, you got a problem, a whole different problem, right? Because we can't even agree on what's important, right? So that's why I'm saying like we want to be in a good healthy union so that we can set ourselves up to succeed. Both of us must agree and align on our household being the most important. Um, this is something too that would be a problem that would cause issues for a lot of people because a lot of men don't even know what they want. A lot of men nowadays can't even make a decision. They don't even know where they stand. And at the end of the day, the man is supposed to be the head of the household. He's supposed to be a leader. It doesn't matter if you think you're a leader or not. You're supposed to lead. You're supposed to at least be capable of leading your household. And so that means you need to build some character. You need to build some wisdom. You need to be capable of making solid decisions. It's not going to, you know, harm anyone who is with you. You need to be capable of doing that. And if that's why we got to be honest with ourselves. If you're mentally not there yet, if you have a drug or alcohol problem or something like that, anything that would perhaps hinder you from being solid and able to make good decisions, then you shouldn't be even trying to get with anybody. Because then you potentially gonna wind up creating children and you're not ready. Right. So that's what we gotta do. You gotta do the work on ourselves at the end of the day. And the men have to be fit to lead. And if we do that, everything else is gonna work out. If you as a man is fit to lead, it don't matter about if all the women out there are messed up and dysfunctional and crazy. It don't matter because you're not gonna be trying to deal with all of them. The woman that you will be with will be, will have similar mindset as you, right? Because we attract that in our lives, and you're not gonna be dealing with all this other mess. So who cares? Your household's gonna be straight. Y'all are gonna be good. And at the end of the day, you can't save the world. You can't save all of these people out there. They got to go through and experience what they have to experience. Who cares? You know, you got to do you. And so that's how it works and it's successful. Both of you align on making this one household successful and that's the most important thing. So you got to agree on that. If y'all don't agree on that, it'll never work. And on that note, I'm going to get up out of here. I appreciate you all. Everybody who appreciated this video, make sure you click the like and the share button and we will be coming back with some more content possibly later on this week. And I appreciate you all, everyone. If you didn't already, hit like and share. And on that note, peace.
Highest quality handmade fezzes. Crafted fez with the finest wool, complete with tassel and leather sweatband. Wear the national headdress of Moorish Americans with pride and respect. 3XL size fez is a comfortable fit for brothers with dreadlocks. Shipping worldwide. Go to moorishfez.com to order. Every day, billions of searches are conducted online, therefore it is critical that your company stands out to the small percentage of clients who are essential to your business. Our team of local digital marketing consultants and SEO experts is eager to help your company achieve its goals through a consultative approach, top Google rankings, and collaboration with industry experts. Here at Adept Marketing Solutions, we stand for integrity, dedication, ingenuity, and results. We know how to navigate the ever-changing digital landscape and what brands must do to succeed. Visit our website to see what we can do to help you reach your goals.
More is a non-profit organization focused on providing goods and services to families and individuals in our underfunded communities in Central Ohio. We have created an online presence to reach members of our Central Ohio communities, as well as local events and meetings to give away supplies and donations throughout the city all year long. Visit our website to learn more and to send a donation. Don't let your history start at slavery. Join with Moorish Science Temple, a lawfully chartered Islamic organization, and proclaim your nationality while helping us uplift fallen humanity. Founded by American prophet Noble Drew Ali and consistently promoted plans for the betterment of humankind. We are located in Columbus, Ohio. Visit our website www.moorishamericans.com and follow us on social media. We hold live meetings on Zoom every Friday and Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Give us a call at 614-407-4394 if you would like to join or send donations to help us uplift fallen humanity.
Fez Caps blends Moorish style with modern streetwear hats. The cutting-edge design features Moorish symbols with a silk tassel on the dome of the cap. More than just a fashion statement, Fez Caps represents something powerful and ancient within you. Go to fezcaps.com to order your Fez Cap now.